Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Rabbi and the Chef.
Thanks for joining us. Just want to remind you before we get started for our special Shavuot episode to subscribe to our channel. You don't want to miss a single episode. Share it with your friends. It's not fair to keep it to yourself. What do we got here today, Chef?
Well, today we have a wonderful dish specifically for Shavuot.
Okay.
And the theme around Shavuot, of course, is to eat dairy. So we're going to have a wonderful dairy meal. Blintzes today is what we're doing.
Delicious. And how do we make blintzes?
So we started off by making the crepes, and we add our cheese filling to it.
Okay.
And then we have three gorgeous looking sauces that we're going to top off, and that'll be the finishing touches to our blintzes.
It sounds good. I'm a little confused because first you said we're making blintzes, and then you said we're making crepes. And crepes is like that French fancy word.
That's right.
For blintzes.
That's right. It's like it's a fancy pancake, let's say, right? So we always have to put a fancy name and spin on foods to make it more, more delicious.
It makes it sound more palatable. It's like I'm not gonna fry up some onions with my burger. I'm gonna fry up some shallots.
Shallots. You got it, Rabbi.
Okay.
So we're gonna start off by making the batter.
You're rubbing off on me a little bit.
just a little bit. So we're gonna start off with our batter for the crepes.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with our wet ingredients. So we have a little bit of soy milk, but this could be any kind of liquid. This could be water, almond milk. This could be milk itself. So this is about 1 cup, and you'll find all the recipes to everything we're making at the bottom of our YouTube channel.
Fantastic.
So, and then we have 1 egg.
Okay. And how many crepes does this make?
So this should make close to about 10 crepes.
Okay, fantastic. 5 for me, 5 for you.
Then that's what I was thinking. So we have our wet ingredients, and we're just going to whisk those up together. Just with a little bit of vegetable oil, some of the milk, and
you can use different types of oil. You can use corn oil, you can use sesame oil.
Exactly. Those kind of things is completely up to our viewers and up to their individual tastes.
So what's great about making crepes is you don't have to go out and buy some special ingredients. You can kind of do with what you have at home for the most part.
I think these are the kind of ingredients that most people do have at home, and so on a moment's notice you could probably make these.
Fantastic.
All right. So, Rabbi, can I ask you to put a little bit of water for me?
Okay, you got it. Absolutely.
Just a little bit. So as you add your ingredients, if you notice that your batter is a little bit thick, just add a little bit more liquid to it for whatever it is. A little bit of water, a little bit of milk. So just a little at a time. You don't want to thin out your batter too much.
If it's too thin, when you spread it out, you're going to get some.
If you find that the batter is too thin, exactly. It's not going to fry up as well as you would like it.
Okay.
So there is that sweet spot that you want to get with your batter.
Okay.
Okay. So.
And as you mentioned, we're making a dairy dish. Why do we eat dairy on Shavuot? Well, the very first Shavuot, when the Torah was given to the Jewish people, it was given on Shabbat, the Shabbos, and therefore we weren't able to kosher our utensils in order to properly ritually slaughter an animal, and so they ate dairy. And in order to commemorate that, we eat dairy dishes. And it's an excuse to kind of indulge ourselves after the Torah reading, to have a nice kiddush with some ice cream and cheesecakes, and everyone likes that. So
exactly. So Rabbi, while you were giving us a little bit of the inside of Shavuot, so I finished up the batter, and the consistency, you can see it's a pourable consistency. It's still thick, but it's not runny. All right. So now, Rabbi, I'm going to ask you to join me in preparing these crepes. I'm going to put the batter into the pan, and as I put the batter in, you want to lift up the pan, and you want to tilt it on all sides so the batter can spread out. We want thin crepes, is what we're looking for. Okay. So you can hear that. All right. So keep tilting. Want it to run a little bit. Might have to add just a little bit more water.
Maybe a little bit more batter here.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yep. And you only want to fry it for just a few seconds on each side.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I flip it?
Put it back on the heat.
Okay.
Okay. Unfortunately, it won't cook, but just the air alone.
Okay.
It's going to require a little heat.
If you want to be really fancy, you can throw it up in the air.
And 10 points if it hits the ceiling. So, how do you know when it's ready to flip? You can see the little air bubbles that are forming.
I see
now
that.
just get underneath the crepe and flip it over.
Shoddy equipment, though.
All right. So your hands are your best tools, so don't be afraid to use your hands a little bit. Be careful that it is hot, and you're gonna need for another couple of seconds. So the heat, about a medium heat. You want to preheat the pan.
Okay.
And ideally, you want it to get at least one side to have a little bit of brown on it.
A little bit of brown. Okay.
Yeah, that's we call our presentation side.
You don't want to cook it too long. It becomes too firm. It's going to be hard to roll.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And then that crepe is ready. You can put it over here. We'll do just a couple more while you explain to us a little bit more about Shavuot.
I'm glad you asked. You know, here we are. We're celebrating Shavuot. And what is Shavuot really? It's the anniversary of when God gave the Jewish people the Torah, also known as the wedding of the Jewish people. So it's only fitting that we talk about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
When two people first meet, it's very exciting, very exhilarating. You don't really know each other too well. And then eventually you get engaged, you get married, and you become quite comfortable. But the trick is to infuse that comfortable, safe secureness with an exhilarating excitement. Now, how do we do that? Leading psychologists and relation therapists will tell us that you have to spend once a week with your spouse. Some quality time.
At least.
At least, at minimum. But God did this for us. He also wants to spend special time with us. And that's why He gave us the Shabbos. That once a week we should spend special time with Him. Now, what therapists will also tell you, that if you want to have a really, really fantastic marriage, once a month, take 24 hours to dedicate to each other. Maybe get away, go someplace, do something. Without the children, without any friends, just with each other. And again, God gave us Rosh Chodesh, the new month, which we celebrate once a month. And then, of course, there's a widespread custom to celebrate your anniversary. And how do you celebrate your anniversary? By doing something special. This is Shavuos. Now, language is very interesting. You know I like language, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, where was the Torah given?
In the desert.
In the desert. Now, how do you spell desert? Desert is D-E-S-E-R-T. Now, if you add an S right in the middle, what does it spell?
Dessert.
Dessert. And there you have. You can decide, do I want to celebrate the Torah in the desert? Do I want my relationship to be barren? Or do I want my relationship to be a dessert? You have to stick in that extra S. What does the S stand for? Simcha. Joy. Joy is not a byproduct. Joy is something that we create, we sustain. And by injecting joy into our relationship, we have an exciting, exhilarating, but safe and secure relationship with our loved one, and also with God. Now, tell me, what's the next steps here?
So now we're just about finished. We're going to do one more crepe.
Okay.
Once that crepe is finished, we're going to add our cheese filling. Again, the recipe to our cheese filling is just below our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find that. We're going to add that to our crepe. We're going to fold it like a little package. We're going to add a little bit more oil to a pan, and we're going to fry it on both sides.
Okay, then you can use cottage cheese, farmer's cheese.
Yeah, so this is a farmer's cheese and cottage cheese, a little bit lemon and one egg. But you can use farmer's cheese, baker's cheese. That's right.
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese. That's right.
Whatever you have in the house.
Yeah, basically, and to add an egg to it will bind all that together, and that's why you have to put it back in the pan, because it does have an egg in it.
Okay.
Right. So while we're waiting for this final crepe, we're going to add a little bit of the filling right there in the middle, maybe about 2 teaspoons.
Okay.
And then we're going to fold that up so it is like a little package, right? Just like so. And then we're gonna remove this crepe and add a little bit of oil. Enough so we can call it frying.
Okay.
Alright, that's gonna heat up pretty quickly.
I'm just gonna go, as they say, back in the frying pan.
Back in the pan. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing with all of those.
Okay. Now, could you put a little of the sauce inside the crepe? Is that allowed?
Oh,
inside the Blintz?
Rabbi, now you're talking my language. You could absolutely do that as well.
So you don't only have to put the topping on top, you can put the topping inside.
The topping could be right smack dab in the middle.
Smack dab. You know what? Because just like you don't have to reserve God in your life just for when you go to synagogue. Stick God in your life even when you're at home, when you're at work, wherever you are, you can stick that spirituality into your life right in the middle, and that's going to give you that simcha, that's going to give you that joy into your relationship.
Mm-hmm. So, we're going to...
These are frying up very nicely.
Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get nice and brown on one side.
Okay.
And then once you get a little bit of browning, and that should happen very quickly, under a minute, you're going to flip it over and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now while you're doing that, we're going to get the presentation ready on our plate. We're going to put some of our caramelized apples all around. Right. Oh, this is going to be très delicious, as they say.
I'm going to put up a pot of coffee in a minute, that's what I'm going to do.
There you go. Oh, this is nice. So this is what you want. You want to get a nice brown color on one side.
Okay.
Flip that over. The other one. You can see the cheese that's oozing out a little bit. You want that. That's all part of the presentation. And the cheese is melted inside, and it's nice and hot, and that's what you're looking for.
So don't be afraid for it to ooze out. That's a good thing.
Perfect. So put that right here on the plate.
Which one? This one?
Both of them.
Okay.
They're good to go. All right. Okay. We're gonna make that look very pretty. And
drizzle some strawberry sauce on top.
we're gonna drizzle strawberry sauce right in the middle.
Because life is sweet.
And we're gonna put our chocolate fudge sauce right over, just a little bit overlapping the strawberry sauce.
Because chocolate makes us happy.
Oh yeah. And you could also finish it off with whipping cream, a little icing sugar, and that is our Blintzes with strawberry and chocolate fudge sauce.
That's how you should celebrate Shavuos. The Rabbi and the Chef, we wish you a wonderful Shavuos. You should accept the Torah with simcha, and you should have a wonderful relationship with God and all the important people in your life.
Good Yom Tov.